Vinny to guess who? That's right, Mark Carrier. On the one with 11 seconds to go. One play later, the pitch to Eric Metcalf. And how about 19 fourth-quarter points for the Browns? And Vinny Testaverde, way to spend that money, Art. 16 points in the last 226. Bill with an offense. And perhaps a quarterback controversy, a 3-0 record. He doesn't care. He's happy. They beat the Raiders 19-16. Vinny Testaverde brings them back.
You always believe deep down that you can, but you never know until you actually do it. But I know one thing, that this team showed a lot of character. Defense played great all day, and the offense hung in there and believed that we can win, because if they didn't, we wouldn't have won.
When he came in, he played great, excellent, I mean. But at that point, things just happened to go well. The offense was pulling together. We still had letdowns at times, but we felt that if we pulled together, we can do the thing.
You know, Eric really hung in there, made some big plays on the returns, you know, set up great field position on that last kickoff return after safety release punt. And, you know, I was just really happy that, you know, he made the big play there at the end, because I know they were keen on him the whole game, and you know, it's a super play.
We all know that Art Modell didn't give Vinny Testaverde well over $1 million a year just to look good carrying that clipboard. Bernie Kosar had trouble today. He completed just 8 of 17 passes for 71 yards, had 3 interceptions. The offense didn't cross midfield until the third quarter with Bernie. Now, in the past, Kosar would have stayed in the game. Today, Coach Bill brought in Vinny Testaverde. He completed only 10 of 22, but he had 159 yards and that touchdown. The offense scored 17 points with him in the fourth quarter. So who starts at quarterback next week against the Colts? Vinny knows the answer to that one, and it's easy.
You know, what I expect to happen next week is that Bernie's going to start against Indianapolis, and we're going to go right back to where we were last week, and I don't have any problem with that. That's part of the reason why I'm here, for these type of situations, and for me to come in and help this team win, and you know, that's what I'm getting paid for.
One other impressive stat. Tommy Vardell had 14 carries for 104 yards. He's the first Brown to go over 100 yards rushing in a game since Kevin Mack did it back in 1988.
Against the Colts.
You had me grumbling during the first part of that ball game, almost all the way to the end. But by the end, hey, I was talking about you being a genius and praising the players for their courage and toughness.
I was grumbling a little bit myself, Jim. We were in trouble there for a while, and I didn't feel like much of a genius, and we were down by 13 points. But the players hung in there, and it was really a good win for us. We came off a short week, went on the road to L.A., play a good team out there, and we were able to come out on top. Players did a heck of a play before. This is where we threw to Jackson out here. We saw them blitz all 6 guys inside here, and we're in man-to-man coverage, which is really what we're looking for on the play. And in this case, Vinny throws it to Michael and just barely is out of bounds.
Yeah, that was almost 6.
Right. So we put Eric in the game. They had been double covering Eric, you know, the majority of the day. So what they ended up doing was lining up and double covering Eric back here and bringing these people. And the double crack now would be with Leroy blocking down on the end and Tillman coming down here on the linebacker. And since Trapp here was in man-to-man coverage, he followed him on down, and that just didn't leave anybody left.
So you have to anticipate both man-to-man and, in this case, a blitz, too.
Right. Well, we could run it against the zone coverage, but it's better against man, because you can see these guys are following their men down inside. And when Tony Jones pulls out there, there's just nobody left for him to block.
And look at this block right over here by Michael Jackson. I mean, this is...
But actually, this is Tillman, Jim.
Tillman coming down
on...
This is a
super block right here on Hoskins. Yeah, he cleans them out. That's a beautiful sight, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you. And you couldn't draw it up any better, could you?
No, Steve and Houston and Bob do a nice job inside of sealing off all this penetration. And, of course, Eric can just outrun what's left of it.
And that he did. All right, let's take a look now at the highlights of that big win over the Raiders. And let's begin with a locker room scene following that Monday night victory over the 49ers, where you had a little message for the team.
Okay.
Be humble on this one now. All right, be humble on this one. We got 14 more to go. We still got a lot of work to do, but I'll tell you what, we got a damn good football team here.
Hostetler, fake handoff, throws back of the end zone, touchdown Glover.
The Browns showed some effects of the short week as the Raiders scored early. But it was not going to be an offensive show on this hot Los Angeles afternoon.
Flushed out of the pocket, rolling right, throws it, is intercepted.
Defense dominated, especially for the Browns.
Bardell, good yardage across the 30, breaks a tackle at the 35-40. The race is out at the 50. Bardell to the 35, 30, 25, 23-yard line. Kosar rolling right, dumps it off to Bardell, 45-40. Tough running inside the 35 to the 30 to the 25 to the 22.
Trailing 13-3 in the fourth quarter, Vinny Testaverde stepped in at quarterback, and the change of pace had the Raiders' defense reeling for the first time. Using the variety of weapons available in the offense, the former Heisman Trophy winner took the Browns on a 90-yard drive that culminated with a 12-yard strike to wide receiver Lawyer Tillman, number 85, who was playing his first game of the season. It made the score 16-10, with 2.5 minutes remaining.
That's my bad, all right? We get the ball from the back, though. That's my bad. 2-4 matchup. 2-4 matchup. We got to get communication now. You were in 3. It's cover 3, but we're not in cover 3 right here. Right?
Defensive coordinator Nick Saban's defense needed to make one more stand, and they did. The Raiders were shut down inside by the Dean, and they were clobbered on the outside, too. The Raiders took a safety to make the score 16-12 and sent the ball back for one last Browns gasp.
Metcalf up the middle, 25, 30, outside of the 35 to the 40, 45, Metcalf to the 50, in Raiders territory, and finally run out of bounds. Testaverde in the pocket with time, throws, and the pass is caught at the 19-yard line by Mark Carrier. Second down, in the pocket, looks over the middle, throws over the middle, a sliding catch at the 3-yard line. The Browns will have it first and goal. Testaverde kicks out, Metcalf to the 1-yard line, he scores, and the Browns are going to win the game. What a call!
They wanted to win, they had the will to win, and we went out and we tried our best in every play. We didn't know if we can do it, but we proved to ourselves that we can.
All right, listen up, fellas. Listen up, and do not be horrible. Whoa, you guys are killing me. Anybody that ain't going back on the plane, let me know. That's a hell of a win.
Coach, a game like that really tests the old ticker, and the fans, the whole town's still buzzing about it.
Well, it was a good win for us, and I think the players and the whole team has a good feeling about what we've done the first 3 weeks, but that Raider game in particular. We've got some confidence, and the only way you can really build your confidence is to win. Talking about it's nice, but you got to go out there and do it, and I think the team's got a real good feeling, but we didn't get a chance to enjoy that one much, Jim, because we got to move on and get ready for the Colts.
All right, speaking of moving on, when we come back, we'll hear from our 3 fans who will comment on the coach. First there was the splash, then there was the dash, and yes, folks, he was smiling after this one. Stick around.
Changed Monday night in the locker room, he said.
What's that thing that they coined out there? Just win, baby? I think that was a just win, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We did well.
But we have a question for you, Coach.
And, you know, you guys have been reading the papers too much. I smile all the time.
Well, now, wait a minute, Bill. All the time?
Well, a lot of the time.
I hear from the players a little otherwise, but go ahead.
But, you know, that was one of those games where you had a lot of things go against us, but we worked so hard. We've been a team.
Them going. So, you know, you extend your hand in other areas. What are you looking at me for? Well, no, don't worry. I wouldn't kick you in the
Johnson, Max Reniger, and Brian Wagner are all punters who have been blown out of here by those chilly winter winds.
Don Cockroft was the last mainstay at the punting position for the Cleveland Browns. From 1968 to 1980, number 12 worked his magic on the football field during all kinds of weather. This versatile player not only punted for the Browns, but also shared other kicking duties. Following the Browns' 1976 season, he left punting behind and concentrated solely on kicking. Since that time, for well over a decade, the Browns have had a revolving door of punters. As fast as they have arrived, they have departed. Then Otto Graham, Bill Willis, Len Ford, Bobby Mitchell, Mike McCormick, Paul Brown, Frank Gatsky, Marion Motley, Lou Groza, Dante Lavelli, Paul Warfield, and Jim Brown. Names that will forever share an honored place in the Football Hall of Fame. December 6, 1959, the Canton Repository headline read, "Pro football needs a Hall of Fame, and logical site is..."
Room where every Shiny is honored again in picture and memento form here.
And when you see the movies, you can't lie. If you made a mistake, you got to own up to it and say that was your fault. And I think that's why the people have such good, close relationship with each other.
Certainly all of the men who are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame have very special qualities. Perseverance, great character, a sense of sportsmanship, great ability to play the game. I think those are all attributes that those who number the less than 180 probably have. And after all has been said and all has been done, then you allow the pundits, the so-called critics, or those who make those decisions about whether the standard of play that I set for myself was good enough to get me into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Jackie, just think about the Cleveland Browns heritage, and you get to see it all down at the Hall of Fame. Most people think that Jim Brown was the greatest runner of all time, and Paul Brown introduced innovations to the NFL that are still being used by coaches around the league today.
I think you can easily argue that Otto Graham was the greatest quarterback in the history of the game. I mean, they talk about Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana in their 4 Super Bowls, but Otto Graham led his team in each of his 10 years to the league championships and took 7 titles. Very impressive.
And don't forget about some of Otto's teammates, Dante Lavelli, Frank Gatsky, Marion Motley, Bill Willis.
And maybe one of the most versatile players, Lou the Toe Groza.
Boy, what would he be worth on today's NFL market?
I don't know. I don't want to pay the bill.
A great kicker and a Pro Bowl offensive tackle all in one man. We'll be back to visit with a couple of current Cleveland Browns who hope to make their mark in NFL history.
Straight back in the pocket, dumps a screen to Bardell on the left side across the 30, 35, breaks a tackle across the 40 to the 43. This is a free play for Bernie. He throws, and the pass is caught by Michael Jackson at the 41-yard line. Kosar turns, pitches out to Metcalf. He hands off to Jackson. Jackson wants to throw. Pops it deep, left side. Metcalf has it at the 20. Slips and falls down at the 17-yard line. Kosar backpedals, looks left, throwing. Jackson, end zone, touchdown Browns! Michael Jackson on a fade, and Jackson beat the Dolphins secondary, caught the ball going away for 6. Here is a 53-yard field goal try by Pete Stoyanovich, and it is good. Here's a pop over the middle by Marino to Keith Byers. He's across the 35 to the 40 to the 41-yard line. Byers struggling for yardage. Marino with a long count. 3-step drop. Loops it toward the end zone. The pass is caught for a Dolphins touchdown. Kosar back to throw. With time, pocket caves in. Bernie is escaping from one tackle, rolling to the right, and finally sacked at the 20-yard line. There's Bernie dropping back under severe pressure, screens it to Metcalf left side. Metcalf slips and falls, fumbles the ball, and the Dolphins have it.
When he saw nickel, he checked the play pass, trying to get the ball over the top. The chief on the step. So maybe we think about a little bit of cover 5 to keep the safety back over there.
Marino out of the shotgun. Pocket caves in, and Marino is sacked back at the 20-yard line. From the shotgun, dumps it off to Kirby to the 15 to the 10. Mitchell is in the game. Here's Mitchell firing, and the pass is intercepted. And this could go for a touchdown. Intercepted by Najee Mustafa at the 40. The Dolphins 30. Mustafa, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown. Kosa rolling out to his left. He's in trouble, and down he goes at the 23-yard line. Third time in the last 3 games that Vinny Testaverde has come out of the bullpen. Number 12 is in there. Testaverde set to go. Fake handoff, bootleg. Testaverde gonna run. 30, 35. Steps up in the pocket, lots of time. Now Vinny's gonna run into Dolphins territory and does the hook slide. Testaverde pumps once. Now Vinny may take off again. Up the middle he goes to the 20-yard line.
I'm going to give Vinny every opportunity to show what he can do. I think he deserves that based on his preseason and regular season performance. Bill mentioned that I'm going to be the starter, so, you know, I mean, that's what everybody works for, to get in the game, to play, to start. So I'm just going to try and make the best of my opportunity that I have in front of me right now.
The good old days of football. A simpler game. Less money, less gear, less coverage, and even good old flash bulbs in place of sophisticated telephoto lenses.
I think that you probably have more media on it. We have more coverage with television because some of us old-timers were playing. We only had one camera up above, and they didn't even have one on the sidelines. I think there was just one camera up above. And for a championship game, they might have had 2 cameras. I feel that you probably got more writers probably running around now. Back in the old days, we had 3 newspapers, and there was only 3 writers that covered football. That was the extent of it.
I started covering the Browns in '54, but I did them before that at the games, but I started covering the beat, we called it, in '54. Well, we had the Cleveland News and the Cleveland Press, and that was about. Then we had Lorraine Swanson was from the Canton, and I think that was about it for the beat writers on the beat that time. And we had very few guys from television, radio came down.
When I covered, I was almost on a personal relationship with every player. They might not like what I wrote, but I could face them the next day, and we would talk it out. I don't think the players are prone to talk as much now. They're making a lot more money. Maybe they're a lot more secure, or they're a lot more independent, whatever it is. They're not as giving as the players were in our day.
The game has improved as has the media. And then it became such a spectacular sport for the spectators. They wanted to find new ways to present it. And, of course, the equipment has improved quite a bit to project the action on the field. They got more cameras to do it with. Of course, you pull up next to a stadium, you see these big trailers to be able to televise games.
The electronic coverage of the game is surely far more sophisticated today, and the color commentary includes, in many cases, the thoughts of past players turned broadcasters. Former Brown player and commentator Reggie Rucker.
I think for me it was a great deal of fun. I enjoyed it because I knew that, I had something there and was offering something that no one else had. I was the only person basically in that stadium that had been on the field and in the booth. And that's very powerful when you think about it.
Looking at this film from the bygone days, you'll notice that primarily those people on the field are players or coaches and a couple of photographers. But today, well, in 1993, the Browns will issue 17,310 various credentials for their 9 home game season. Close to 100 writers sit in the football press box, while more than 150 photographers' passes are issued. Add to that 150 television passes, 80 officials' passes, 42 bench passes, 119 room passes, toss in 75 stadium staff passes for good measure, 60 sideline passes. Well, you get the picture. And on a Monday night game, the credential head count literally doubles.
The
seems as though everything's happening at once, and it seems as though that would be a big distraction. But once the ball is snapped, it's like you block everything out. You can only feel the 22 guys that's out there on the field at the time, plus yourself. So really, it doesn't have an effect on a player that's focused.
So it seems whether it's one photographer or 100, the player's job on the field is concentration, 100%.
For a player, all it does for a player is get him in more trouble. You know, you get extra angles and different views of things now. And whereas back then you only had one shot of it maybe, and you couldn't see everything that's happening.